Today we are going to do a very brief overview of Baroque music. Now the Baroque period was from 1600 to 1750, and the word Baroque means decorated, so keep that in mind, it will keep coming back. Visual art at this time was much more elaborate than in the Renaissance, as you can see in these examples here and here. They were more detailed, more focused on the beauty. There was a lot of ornate pictures, they were embellished, and they were very exact. Now, music at this time was very rhythmically interesting, and they tried to make it very elaborate. Both with melodies and rhythms, they would make it complex and detailed. They would embellish with ornaments, kind of like if you think of how a Christmas tree has extra details on it to make it more beautiful. That's what they would do with their music, and those details made it very dramatic. Now, there was a huge turn in the Baroque era where the music that was being written was no longer just for church services. In the medieval and Renaissance, most music was just for the church, but now there is a huge rise in secular music. And with that rise in secular music, instrumental music became just as important as vocal music for the first time in history. Music began to develop different sections, slow and fast, quiet and not soft, loud. And these sections really demonstrated the elaborateness of the music. Now, in Baroque and Renaissance music, all of the voices were equal, but composers in the Baroque era started giving the melody to the higher voice or the soprano, and the other, usually lower voices, would support and complement the melody in the soprano. The Baroque era also gave way to some very exciting new forms of music. The first form is oratorio, which is a series of songs based on a Bible story. The second form is cantata, which always makes me hungry because it sounds like frittata, but it's nothing like that. It is another story told through a series of songs. What oratorio and cantata have in common is that neither of them use sets or props or costumes. The third new form of music that we saw appear is the opera, and unlike oratorio and cantata, the opera told a story using sets and props and costumes. All of those were enjoyed and expected in an opera. What all of these new forms of music had in common is that they all used an orchestra. Now, the idea of playing different instruments together in a group is not a new concept, but in the Baroque period, people embraced the orchestra. And in the beginning, it was just, oh, you play a harpsichord, and well, I play the violin, and someone else plays the drum. Okay, cool, now we're an orchestra. But in the Baroque period, and mid to late Baroque period specifically, composers started writing for specific groups of instruments so that the piece of music could be played the same way every time people heard it. The focus in the Baroque era was more on expression and enjoyment of music rather than just having music for religion or for these specific sacred purposes. Now people were beginning to actually enjoy what they were listening to. That is it for the Baroque period. Thanks for listening.